time here?
Yeah.
No, push them up. We had a couple of newer pieces. Summer's traveling time, so it's good to go to Europe, except maybe this year where it doesn't seem quite so good. I was over in Brussels not that long ago, and alas, was standing unnervingly close at one point to where a terrible incident just happened not very long ago. And there's that, how many steps is it? 6 steps away from something. I feel like some of that's been getting a little closer lately, and maybe we're all starting to feel that. Maybe it's just getting down to not 6 steps anymore. Anyway, on one of these trips I made, you take the Eurostar from London to Paris, you get there very quickly, or you can take it to Brussels and get there very quickly. And for some reason, I just didn't feel like getting there quickly. I felt like getting there slowly for a change. And so I took the old-fashioned boat train, and my wife and I, for the same price of a ticket going on the Eurostar London to Paris, we could take the old boat train out to Dover, and then go across on the ferry. We could stay a night in a very nice hotel and have a very delicious dinner in a wonderful French place in this historic old town, Calais, all for the same price of the ticket with change of the Eurostar. So that's what we did. We took it easy. And of course, Calais is a wonderful city. There's that story of the famous siege there, and that magnificent piece of sculpture that Rodin has done about the burghers of Calais, about the elders of the city who, after a long siege by the English, finally surrendered themselves in exchange for their own lives to save the people of the town behind them. An extraordinary act of compassion and bravery. And the English were so moved by that they spared the people of the city. So Calais has always been special. It's magnificent Flanders architecture as well. A lot of beautiful red brick with ornamentation all throughout it. But it was also the site of one of our major Canadian respite areas in the Great War, in the First World War. And as I was over there one morning, we took a taxi, and the taxi driver was Russian, and we were speaking in my badly watched high school French that I picked up at the same school where Sam Rodden taught. He said, we got in the taxi, he says, you're going to the cemetery for the Canadian dead, of course. And we said, no, we're not. We're going to see how much the tickets are for something else. And he actually gave us a little lecture about, well, why aren't you going to pay honor to your Canadian dead? And I thought, why aren't we? And so, you know how these things go. And I've heard of other writers. I remember Jamie Reed, the poet, saying he had the same experience traveling to the north of France. He wanted to get to Paris to see the lives of the poets and the artists. And there was something incredibly compelling about the stories of the Somme and the First World War that he felt obliged to linger as well and begin exploring some of that Canadian heritage that, of course, always leads us to Vimy. And I know Candace has got a poem about this as well. This is called The Canadian War Dead at Calais, and it begins with a short epigram from St. John of the Cross. It goes, "For I know well the spring that flows and runs, although it is night." The Canadian War Dead at Calais. En route to Lille, looking outside these compartment windows, I think of the war dead beyond Calais, these stone-built towns where the wounded of that war still called great passed on their way to the medals, their graves. Red poppies grow in the hedgerows, oddly in season as we ourselves pass on in my grandfather's footsteps towards Courcelette, where he went over the top and into the guns, a bayonet charge, then house to house down the wrecked village street until they held it. Saturday morning, a small brown street, that bar to back there on the corner. This is where the mailbags arrived, news from their mothers, the girl back home. Who is the mayor now? What memories remain here of that mud, blood, of the metal shards that turn up in harrow teeth every tilling time in May? So, an Irish poem.